Hello, everybody. I figured I'd try to just glob on or attach myself or just discuss the ideas that R Wayne Steiger was discussing the last couple of weeks about shadow people. It got me thinking a lot, and I figured, anything that I could just bring it up since R Wayne Steiger's off today, and it'd be a good opportunity for us all to just think about these kind of things. And of course, starting off the World Peace Unity Day, which is really important. That it doesn't matter what the world starts throwing at us, we can make peace around us. We can create the peace. We can do things, steps, make up steps, and try to work together to bring peace as much as possible to the world. I think that's really important that we all should think about trying to bring as much peace into the world as possible. Hello, Chloe. Welcome to my, I guess, hijacking of Wayne's time slot since he's not on. I just figured I'd throw in because he got me thinking a lot about the shadow people and stuff. And I figure, why not just bring out my ideas and maybe others will want to discuss it. Maybe they won't. Hello, Joe Sapien. Welcome to my hijacking of Wayne's time slot. Oh, new Yoda. Wow. Hello. Welcome to my show. And I was thinking all about what Wayne has been talking about the last few days. Um, there was something he brought up. He asked a few questions like what happens after we die, and I was thinking a lot about after death. There is a judgment, but we judge ourselves. So whatever happens after we die. Hello, Sumerian son. I think that after we die, we sit down in a room with the different versions of ourselves because I think that all the timelines of us um, have their own individual spirit or soul, and that all together we sit together and see how we did in our different timelines. It's all different versions of us, and we talk about and there is no separate judgment. There's no judgment from God. There's no judgment from St. Peter. It's judgment from us. And he brought that up. I got really thinking about this and that, you know, who is our harshest judgment? It's from ourselves. And I really believe that we sit down with ourselves and say, okay, how do we do? What do we think about that? And then we also go over the issues with people that we've offended or hurt. And we experience that hurt and pain that we cause to others in ourselves so we can learn from that. And people have done horrible, atrocious things. They have to experience the things that they've done to others directly, and so they can progress forward. And it's all this life is all about learning. Haven't been trying to decide if after it, guys, if I'm in a cult or just a hobby. I think I went Steigers because of the open forum about discussions and everything. Because a cult is closed-minded. So Joe Sapiens, Wayne's is about expressing opinions and having discussions. A cult doesn't allow discussions. The leader has the rules. Um, Hello, Ian Allen. Welcome to this hijacking of Wayne's time slot. So that's why I don't think the Soul Tribe. Unfortunately, giving the title the Soul Tribe does make it kind of culty. Oh yeah, and I'm wearing one of looking at messenger shirts. Um, I dug it out of the closet. I wanted to preserve these because they were so special. Then I realized why collect things if you're not going to use them? It's kind of sad. They just sit there unused. So I figured, you know what? Let me just spread the word. And I think Brian from Milky Way Messengers, his message is still going out there. So yes, putting a title, putting a culty name to it is kind of weird, but having open discussion takes the cult idea off. And of course, the other problem is other people's judgment, what other people see and how they express it. But that doesn't matter. What other people think is not important as what you think. And if you think it's kind of culty, it's time to step back a little bit and you know, allow yourself to express your own opinions and push the bounds. No, you don't need to. Yes, Wayne has his own opinions and they're very passionate. Wayne is a very passionate person and he believes what he believes. But he does also say that your beliefs has no impact on my life. So he does have these great ways of thinking. So, and even though we all have the devil and angel, we're all the devil and angel. So Wayne has some strong opinions and doesn't want to change from them. It doesn't mean you have to follow them. You don't have to ask for forgiveness. You just have to accept it that you have a different opinion than Wayne. You have a different opinion than anyone in the group. That's fine. It's your opinion. And the idea is to listen to other people's opinion and you can still keep your own. You just listen to their opinion and allow them to have their own. Sometimes we forget that. And Wayne has expressed that several times that, your, point of opinion, your point of view does not have any impact on my life. But, that's what I think that after we die, it doesn't matter all the people we've talked to, all the people we've interacted with. After we die, we have ourselves to talk to. We have ourselves to judge. And that can be our worst critic, but we still have that. And then Wayne has said several times that, what right does God have to judge me? And he's 100% right with that. But he also has to release it and let go because God is not going to judge him. He will be judging himself. So no matter what he did in the past, and one of his offenses might be the the people he converted to Christianity, and that might be one of his tough selves. And maybe he's angry at God because he worked for God to convert people to the religion that now he doesn't believe in. And maybe those people he converted are still on their way, expressing their religion and he feels bad about that. And, maybe he's worried about that. That's fine. But that's his life. That's for him to express. And the things that I've done and hurt, and, you know, who knows? I've harmed others. I've said things and offended others and had no intention. That's one of the problems is our intentions. If you intend to hurt somebody, that's much more different than if you unintentionally hurt somebody. And if you unintentionally hurt somebody, you don't know about it, you know, where's the offense? But if you intend to hurt somebody, well, that's the offense. And I don't think Wayne ever intended to hurt anybody, even when he was proselytizing and preaching the gospel and excuse me, trying to convert everyone to Christianity. He was doing it to help other people with their soul. He believed he was helping their souls. So there's no offense to that. And, you know, is how can God be all knowing and still make mistakes and have create us? How can a perfect being create imperfect beings? But that's because that's free choice. We're imperfect and we can have our free choice and make mistakes, and that's the only way we learn. Why does this world have so much pain? Because we are this physical body. We never learn unless we have a little bit of pain to go through. We learn best from mistakes. That's the problem. This realm is we learn the best from our mistakes. But I've been gone off on a tangent. But one of the things I was thinking about is this is craziness talking. But might as well just read what I have. One of the original humans from the Genesis, the first ones created by the Elohim, in their image, had no souls. What if Adam and Eve had no souls, but the Nephilim, the Watchers, when they went with the women, what if the energy from the Watchers created the souls into the people, what if, you know, that was the Watchers were the Nephilim were the offspring from the Watchers. So what if we are the Nephilim? What if we are the product of the women sleeping with the Watchers? That's one of the ideas. And then can some people have souls, and does consciousness need a soul? I don't think a conscious needs a soul. I think you can be conscious and not have a soul, but I think you also but you do need spiritual energy, and I think that's the thing. I think all of us on our spiritual path, we have spirit, but some of us have stronger spirit than others, and that creates the soul. So I think the soul and the spirit are two separate things. Um, and the soul, I believe, is eternal, and it goes after death. The soul goes to what heaven would be, and I think this is the hell realm. And after the soul is done on this, whatever happens, it's done. It goes to heaven. But the spirit itself, sometimes it just hasn't finished whatever it thinks it needs to do, and the spirit sometimes stays. And those are the beings that I get to interact with, the ghosts. I believe the spirits who get stuck here, um, because they think they still have more to do, and that's why spirit and soul are two different things, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, and again, I can share a link if anyone wants to join, but I have to figure out how to share a link. But if anyone wants to join, I can make a link, which I don't know how to do that. Invite. Copy. So I can invite people. So if you want to join, boom, you can join this discussion. And I'm not just proselytizing and expounding on my own ideas, but soul and spirit, I believe the spirits get stuck on this planet, and that's what, and once they finish whatever, trials that they have, they can pass and then join the soul. But I do believe there are some people who have spirit and no soul. But this is all from thinking about it and meditating on it. And what the truth is, I don't know. I mean, I haven't asked my guides, because I think these are one of the things where I need to express and think about. Oh, your consciousness. And then one of the things is, if you met God, would you know it? And I think that if you met a God, the God, I don't think actually exists. I think the God that we think is the top of all of them, the one and only God, is spiritual energy. I think it's just pure energy. I don't think it has any. I think to be the God that we think of, it needs the idea of being in a physical head, body, torso, arms, and legs. But I think the thing that we believe, the one true God, is pure source, pure energy, and it is infallible. It is omnipotent. The pure source, pure energy. But the only thing is, it doesn't have any experiences what it created. So it made the gods, it made the angels, and it made us, so we could experience this physical realm. So I believe the source created the physical realm, and the physical realm wanted to experience it to a spiritual beings. And it made the gods. The gods, they were too powerful. Then it made the angels, and the angels again, they were too powerful. And it says, okay, we'll make mortals who will live these short little lives, experience it, and have no memory of the past, so they can learn and show what this physical realm is all about. And I think that's what we're going through. And that's why life is so tough, because we need to learn, we have to need to experience this. And why we don't remember our past lives, because we need to experience it new each time. I'm in a state of consciousness where I can't figure out the separation of spirit of soul. Everything blends together. Everything is just me. And that is your experience. And that is fine. And that is good. And you have to experience that. And just because I have my ideas and you have your ideas, that doesn't make either of them wrong. Um, you're most likely right because those concepts, if you're meditating on, if you're thinking about it and joining with your spiritual self, you're learning something new. You're having an experience. And some of those experiences, when we're in the meditation state, when you're in the spiritual state, can't be brought out to the physical world. I've had some profound meditations, which I've had like these great ideas, these great concepts. I think, oh, after meditation, I've got to write all this stuff down. And it was like diamonds, diamonds, so beautiful. I hate diamonds actually, but sapphires, rubies, and emeralds. I had sapphires, rubies, and emeralds in my hand. And then I came out of meditation, walked through the door with the physical consciousness, and it became sand and just dissipated. And I tried to take little pieces and take the concepts and remember them. But I think, if you think spirit, soul, and physical are joined and you can't separate them, that is great. So you don't need to look in the mirror. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Looking, can you see yourself looking in the mirror? I can do that, yes. But that's a good question for a lot of people. Are there people who don't have that awareness? And if you ask them, could they see themselves? That's a good question. Because maybe that's the way to separate the people who have the soul, those who do not have the soul. Can they see their spiritual self? Because I know that when I go through astral projection, I don't have fingers. I don't have arms. I don't have hands. I don't have a head. I'm just this orb, this sphere of being when I do astral projection. So I can go anywhere, but I can't go anywhere like walk as a normal person. I just exist as like a sphere, and then to express that with others, people are like, oh, that's interesting, that's fascinating, but not many have ever been able to replicate or comment on my experience. And for a long time, I didn't understand. I figured I was doing it wrong, but it doesn't matter. We all have our own experiences, and what we are and our spiritual self might be different. You know, I mean, some people like Egyptians. They had had people Bast, and you had Thoth, who was an ibis, and Anubis, who was a jackal. So maybe that's how they express themselves in their spiritual beings, and maybe that's the spiritual was their true self. Well, the physical self was a regular human being, but the spiritual self had these strange heads that was similar to an ibis or a jackal or a cat. Akashic records. Yeah, I've never been to the Akashic. Um, I know people who have, and I don't. You know, I think anyone can go to the Akashic, but for me, it's not a place I really want to go for some reason. I thought I did. I thought I wanted to see the Akashic, but then it came when I got to my spiritual self, when I got to my true spiritual soul, spirit self, I got there and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to the Akashic. I'm like, but we want to learn. I'm like, we have everything we need to learn. We just need to take the pieces together. A lot of times we have all the pieces. If we have these questions in our lives, we have all the pieces. We just refuse to put the puzzle pieces together. And we ask others for their opinion. And a lot of times the only opinion that matters is ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with people going to the Akashic because that's their journey and they need that and they want that. I experience these memories in real time too. I'm looking at myself, looking at myself, looking. That's interesting. See, that means you can see the fragments of yourself, the different personality. That is interesting in and of itself. That's probably an ability that very few have, and that's fascinating, Joe. And I think that's another thing is that living these lives, we all have different perspectives, and that's probably what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to have these different experiences and have these different ideas, have these different perspectives, so we can teach each other And a lot of times we see what someone will tell us their experiences and how the right way to do something. It'll be so diametrically opposed to ours that we can't accept it. But again, maybe that's the learning process, is just allowing others to have their experience and being okay with that. It just, it is a lot to experience. Oh, I wanted to just, oh yeah, well, often, often my tangents and stuff, it is, I think I discussed the World's Peace Day, Unity Day. That's a great thing. We all can. That's another thing, is that the Unity Day, it doesn't matter how we try to get others in on the Unity Day. If they want to pray for peace, if they want to meditate for peace, if they want to try to motivate others for peace, they want to manifest peace. No matter what they want to do in their path, we have to encourage them. And we may not believe in prayer or the Christian God or the Jewish God or the Muslim God or Buddhism. It doesn't matter. If we can encourage them to experience their religion and push for peace, that's more important than anything else. And I think we can encourage others. I mean, I brought up the Unity Day 11/11/23, and people says it'll be too late by then, and I'm like, then start now yourself. It'd be like getting the momentum going. Start the Unity Day now, and it'll be perfect by the 11/11. That kind of thing. People try to. Oh, I just put it off. That's not bad though. People try to poo-poo and belittle everything, but the most important thing you can have is encourage them. If they try to be negative, turn it around and say, let's pull some positive out of this. Unity Day for world peace is so important, and we got to encourage others to do it in their own way. The podcast individuals, if they want to do it through happiness and jokes and comedy, well, fine, great. They want to do it through prayer, fine, great. Is any way we can spread it. That's the most important, is to allow people to have their way of expressing it. As long as it's focused on peace and unity, it doesn't matter how they want to go about it. And let's shift gears a little bit to the shadow people. Shadow people I've meditated on quite a bit. And I asked my guides about it because it got very confusing after a while. I got my thoughts going on. And they expressed to me that shadow people are, from human perspective, many different entities. And that's the problem, is we're always trying to put them into these labels. And the problem we have is that they don't all fit. We have to decide which kind of shadow people we're talking about. Because the one shadow people that I know that don't deal with me are the ones who feed off fear. And I used to have a problem with the shadow people. They used to pick on me, and I was so afraid of them because it was so scary. Hello that way. Welcome to my hijacking of Wayne's time slot. So I was so terrified of the shadow people. And one of my guides laughed and said, that thing that you're so afraid of, it's feeding off of you. It's eating your fear. It is so powerless. It has no power. The only power is to scare you. Send it love. Love it. Send it compassion. Pray that it finds peace. Once I did that, once I said, oh, thank you, being, for teaching me, I want you to feel peace, love, and joy. At which point it got really shaked. It started to shake, and it poofed. It ran away. It didn't dissipate. It didn't disappear. It ran away, like it just flew away from me. And that's when I learned about the shadow beings, is that the ones that appear the scariest, the biggest, like the ones that appear as demons, big horns and cloven hoofs and like red and menacing and big, those are the weaker ones. Actually, if they're shadow people, they wouldn't be red, but I've gone off on a tangent about it. But these beings that feed off fear, focus on those first. The ones that feed off fear, they are bigger, they're scarier because they're so weak. And they because they're so weak, they want to scare you and feed off your fear. So you send some love, and it makes them so sick, and they just run away. As I said, you can't deny the bad things going on by only focusing on the good things. To do so would be living in delusion. Hmm. You can't deny the bad things going on, only focusing on the good things. That's a tough one. There's a lot to pull from that. Yes, you cannot deny the bad things. You have to face the bad things, but you can also pull the good from it because every experience we have, every obstacle in trouble in our lives is an opportunity to grow and learn. Every problem is something that we can, everything that all the problems in my life have been an opportunity for growth. And I have a few right now. I have a boss who's just out for me, and I don't know why. He just keeps pushing and pushing about, that just crazy, crazy things, critiquing me. And my lesson is to just accept that and go, okay, let me learn from that. And for him, he doesn't like that. And I go, where can we go from? How can we progress? How can I learn from this? And he would rather write things down so that I can improve, but not give me a path to improve it. And the problem is his boss is laughing about this because he says, "Yeah, don't worry about this. Just we're gonna move on from this." So the guy who's giving me the trouble doesn't give me a path forward, and the guy above him who he has to juggle all the plates on the sticks. He's like, "You just don't worry about this. Just pass this on the side. We'll deal with this later." And me, I'm always, let's face it, let's face it, let's face it. So yeah, so you can't focus on the good things and deny the bad things. That's true. Hello, Elder Barry. Welcome to my hijacking of oh, Guinevere. Welcome to my R Wayne Steiger's hijacking of R Wayne Steiger's time slot. But yeah, anyone who wants to join, just I don't know. Welcome. That's all I say. Don't know if Eddie was in the. I don't know how this works, anyways. But I'll keep an eye and have fun and do my thing. Um. So yeah, that's the scary. The scary, shadow beings that tends to be the ones that are the weakest. There are other shadow beings, shadow people who are small, like children. Those are nasty. The weird thing is those creatures, those evil beings who appear as children, are the nasty ones, and those are the tough ones. They don't bother me as much, again, because again they don't like love and joy and happiness. It's one of the things that they don't like. And that's what's one that with the people too. People who try to push you down and you know try to judge you and make you feel self-conscious. The more happiness and go, okay, how can we learn from this? How can we improve? How can where can we go from here? They don't like that either. So that's another thing you can learn from. Hopefully, that I can teach anyone is that the people who are mean and nasty, they want you to be upset. They want you to be sad. They want you to be stressed. But if you're happy, go, okay, what can we do? What can I do to learn from this? And then you can turn things around. Hopefully, maybe, because some people are just evil and angry and mean, and they just no matter what they do, they just want to be people to be upset. Yeah, friends who critique you, friends who with constructive criticism, who have a way of helping and improving you. Those are friends. Friends who critique and judge and belittle you, they're really not your friends. And I've done that to friends. I've critiqued and judged and been mean and been, oh, it's just funny. It's just jokes. It's happy go lucky. It's not. It's not a good thing. And self-deprecation humor, being your own worst critique. That's mean, and that's not good. That's not being your own best friend. You should be able to, you can critique yourself, but you have to give yourself an out, a path, a way to learn from that. Oh, the other shadow beings. Then there are also the other shadow beings who are just ghosts, spirits, who are once people. They just want attention. That's it. They may appear as shadow people, um, but those who were once people, they just want attention. Love, happy, angry, scared. They just want the attention. Sometimes some ghosts, especially on like Ghostbusters, was it Ghost Files, Ghost Adventures. The Ghost Adventures ghosts, those ghosts know that the scarier and the outwit and the ridiculous and the things that they can do to scare Zach and everything, they get the attention that they want. That's all they want. They want to be seen. Sort of like me, I'm having a YouTube video because I want the attention, right? These ghosts who want attention, they'll do anything they can. And they're not evil, they're not angry, they're not bad, but they'll do things to get the attention that they want. So those shadow beings, they are what they are, and they're like they're kind of like squirrels. Squirrels, they can be fun and to watch, but sometimes they can be annoying when they get in your bird feeder or in your house. But squirrels themselves aren't really that bad. They have a job. They actually help plant the acorns. They help plant oak trees. They help, you know, rid extra. Squirrels also they feed other animals. So squirrels have a purpose. These ghosts, their purpose is to learn, but again, they want some attention. So that's their entertainment. They have nothing else to do. They're not learning. They're just kind of stagnating. They'll be fun. They'll express themselves. Yeah, ghost hunting YouTube thing. Yeah, ghost hunting is fun. I have a few weird uh, ghost hunting apparatus here and there, but my most powerful ghost tool is me. I can see and feel them. Um, that's just one of the things. My most powerful thing is I can interact with these ghosts. You have a great habit. Oh, mushrooms? Yes, the mushrooms in the conservation land around my house. There's a lot of them, different ones. I'm trying to identify them, but I'm a chicken. I won't eat any of them. I can see them. I can look at them. I can ask for identification, but I will never eat any of them. I love mushrooms. I go to the store. I make mushrooms for my salads and stuff like that. But again, I buy it from the store. I buy from people who know. I'll buy them from the farm stand, but I won't. I won't. A friend of mine goes out and harvests with some other friends, and they go out and they pick mushrooms. He wants me to go with him, but I'm like, it would be no benefit to me because I don't think even foraging for mushrooms is profitable. Yes, New Yoda, I do talk to ghosts. Talk to ghosts a lot of the times, and I actually have one that kind of hangs around with me. It was a spirit. I could call it a spirit guide, but it really isn't a guide because my guides are totally different. My guides are more omnipotent and all knowing. The ghost who hangs around with me, he's just kind of like happy-go-lucky, goofy, suggesting, hey, that guy over there, what he's doing over there, that kind of thing. Yes. Um, for the most part, the ghost idea with um, where I live, there's a lot of memorials where people have died. There's war memorials. There's car accidents where people put up things. Those have a lot of ghosts. It is a special gift. Some people find it a gift. Some people find it a curse. For me, it's just a tool that I have. It's just one of those things. It's doesn't really impact my life much. Well, it impacts life a little bit, because I can go places and go, yeah. I had a friend who says, yeah, do you think the mirror is haunted? I got it from my aunt had passed away, and she showed me the mirror, and I said, yeah. I said, kid, that thing is full. The other friend who has the ability, he goes, I told it wasn't haunted. It's not haunted. And I'm like, did you look into it? And if you look into the mirror and you have the ability, you can see the entity in there. It's not a powerful entity, but again, it's not powerful because it hasn't got the energy yet. It was in a house that was not so much abandoned for a long time, but this how it was basically the mother was a hoarder. She collected a lot of things, and this mirror, which was beautiful, was a gorgeous mirror. She had it in an extra room buried, and they cleaned out the stuff. And some of the they threw a lot of stuff as trash. Others that they kept. And this one mirror, which who knows where it came from. It had an entity attached, and the entity was there a long time. And and she's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" I'm like, "Well, you can't smash it. You can't bury it. Honestly, the only one who can really use it is someone who doesn't believe in this kind of thing, because that's the funny thing is that us fools who believe in the spiritual stuff, we feed the energy and bring it up and level it up. So we're able to see the spirit and bring the spirit out and get the entity, get the hauntings. While the people who don't believe in this kind of thing, if they're given a haunted object, they the poor almost I'll say poor, the poor entity who inhabits this object, it becomes weaker and weaker because the person who doesn't believe in this kind of thing doesn't feed the energy. Because all these spirits, they feed on energy. And that's the thing is that us crazy people who believe in this kind of thing and see this kind of thing, we see it, we bring it up, and we empower it, and then the beings, and freeing them. Hello, Laurie Elderkin. Welcome to my hijacking of Wayne's live show's time slot. So, I went on a tangent. Ghosts, believe in them. So, yeah, when you believe, you bring them up, and when you don't believe, you bring them down. So, in these spirits, they want attention, they want energy. The ones, in order for them to manifest, they need energy. If they just want to you know, just be there and attention, they'll show themselves. So showing themselves in any form, orbs and dust and that kind of thing, that doesn't take much. But a full being, a full physical, you know, being takes energy. And where do they get the energy? Well, from you, from the people around. So that's one of the problems. Sometimes they can get it from objects. They can take the battery energy from like a cell phone or a camera. They can use that. Excuse me. But those are selective entities that learn to do that. And then Wayne was asking, why are there no naked ghosts? Well, ghosts appear how they are most comfortable, and they appear as they are most comfortable because they want you to be more comfortable. So, appearing as naked would one thing make them uncomfortably naked, and it could make the observer uncomfortable. So, how a ghost appears is not as they died and what they wore. It can be, but for the most part, it's how they are most comfortable and how they think the others will be more comfortable. And that's why ghosts appear. Ghosts don't have to appear as anything. They can appear as their young self, as their old self, as their middle-aged self. A lot of them appear in probably mid-20s, 30s, because a lot of us are most comfortable. We hit our strive in our 20s and 30s. Um, but, ghosts appear as they feel most comfortable. So that is what it is. And, if there's a nudist who wants to appear as nude, you'll see nude ghosts. It's pretty simple like that. But Wayne always harbored on that. Why are there no naked ghosts? Why are there no nudist ghosts? Well, because they would honestly probably also the nudists are so comfortable in their own skin that after they die, they don't hang around too much. Because most of the ghosts who hang around, they're looking to do something. They're looking to get over something, learn something or solve something. The ones ghosts who stay and haunt, they have a mission, no matter what crazy mission that is. Um, they stick around for that, so they need the clothes that will help them with their mission. Uh, One thing is that I was thinking about at one point. He was saying in the Bible, there's "Let there be light," and that means there was dark, and dark was good, and light was the foreign thing. And my idea was kind of different. What if we as spiritual beings, we can see the whole spectrum? Light is only a teeny part of the spectrum. We see the whole spectrum. But when God said, let there be light, he shoved us in this body so we could only see the limited spectrum of light. So maybe that let there be light is basically now you can only see the light spectrum. That's I just want you to see this. So like you can't see all this other stuff. It just confuse you. It's too much for you. Let there be light. Let there only be light in your life. Because there are beings, there are dogs. You put something, a colorful thing in the grass, and they can't tell the colorful thing from the grass because they can't see the light spectrum. But other things they can see better than different shades. Bees, a simple white flower to us would be very elegant with different patterns on it that we can't see. Heck, the cuttlefish, it sees a heck of a lot more than we could ever see in the infrared, in an ultraviolet, and everything is much more beautiful and vivid to a cuttlefish. And they have a very short life. They have a very short, exciting life. Can you imagine if you were a cuttlefish, all the beautiful things you would see? The shades that we think is just one shade of color. Hello, Robert V. Welcome to my hijacking of R Wayne Steiger's time slot. Just having fun and just giving ideas. And you're fighting snowdrifts. It is 75 degrees here in New England, and you're fighting snow. What a world we live in. And it's, we're in the same part of the globe, just a few 100 miles apart. You have snowdrifts. I have 75 degrees. Beautiful. Wow. Fascinating. R Wayne Steiger says, I can change the course of the world. I can't change. I can change the course of the world, but okay. I can't change the course of the world, but I can alter how it impacts me. That was profound because we can't change the world as it is, but we can change our tiny, tiny, tiny aspect to make our lives better. Oh, snow soon enough? I don't believe you. We'll never have snow. New England? No. We had snows past years. No more snow for New England. We're going to have balmy. It's like a paradise now. We're just going to go from the, mid 30s, and 60s. Our winters are going to be 30s and 60s. It's going to be a beautiful, crazy New England. Yeah. So I can't change the course of the world, but I can alter how it impacts me. So that's the most important thing we can do is that not let the world, not let the fear get to us. Oh, Robert V. I got to figure out how to let him in. Hello, Robert V.
Hey, there you are. Hot diggity dog.
I think that going, yep.
Well, this is awesome. This is awesome. Maybe you guys want to take a look around at all the snow, see that I'm not really bluffing. Can you see all that?
It's dirty.
It's snowing.
Oh, my God. That's not dirty. How much is that?
Probably about 6-8 inches, something like that.
That's enough to be annoying. That's enough
for
the road.
Yeah. Yeah, roads are bad. Nobody was doing anything yesterday. But I got to thinking about, you were talking about the impact of the world and all of this stuff, and it happens to be just like snow. You know what I mean? Think about it. Just like the snow is coming. It's coming. What do? You make sure your car is plugged in. You got to have your scraper and your snow shovel, which makes the next day a little bit better. Yes. And you can't stop the snow. There's no way to stop the snow completely. I mean, you can lessen its effects maybe you buy a snowplow truck, yes. And then you can refer all this to the same way the real world works. We know the snow is coming. It's inevitable. You, me, we can't stop it. There's people with way more. We can't stop armies. We can't stop plagues. We can't stop, those things. We can wish on it. We can lessen the effects by things we do, maybe by purchasing our products in different places or being more self-sufficient. But it's just like here when the snow comes. If you have a good shovel, do you have a snow blower? Do you have a snow plow? Did you insulate? Did you, get enough gas for your house to make sure it's going to be warm? What do you think on that?
That's true. You can prepare. The snow is going to come, and you can affect how it's going to impact your life. You can prepare for it, and you can do what you need to do. People will go freak out and go crazy and do what they can, and drive like a maniac. And other people will go, okay, we're prepared for it. I got the food already. I have what I need. I don't buy extra milk and bread, which craziness. Why do they buy milk and bread? Whatever.
That's a staples. That's a staples, man. You can live off of. Yeah.
Eggs, I can understand because I can make eggs last a long time, but milk, although bread, I think is important. But the milk, I never understood buying the milk for snow. Water, buying lots of water, because if you lose power, having no water is awful.
Yes, no water, but well, that's the thing. Now, I mean, here's the thing: if we can prepare for snow, and we know all of these things, we know what and if you don't live where there's snow, then there's hurricanes. Why are all those people rushing out at the last minute to buy some water and some food the hour before the hurricane hits? Really? Are you kidding me? You knew it was coming a week ago. It comes every year. There's a hurricane in Florida somewhere along the line.
True.
Why aren't you prepared?
True.
Why?
You're right there. Yeah, that's true. Because even if right now, if I lost power, if there was a snowstorm just happened out of nowhere hit my house, I'd be set for weeks because I was so nervous about it. I'm prepared I have stored up water. I have a fireplace, and I have different staples: dried rice, dried oatmeal, dried. I have some, was it rations? Those military rations. I have some of those. Yep. Those are terrible.
Yeah, the MREs are terrible. You know what they're for? They're to keep you alive, to keep you going, to keep your belly a little bit full. It's not to live off. You don't want to live off of those. But it applies through life with everything. Whatever is coming, we can lessen the effects. We can enlighten people to, what these effects might be. So let's expand this out into a broader picture now and say, okay, this has got to apply to everybody. If I'm prepared for a snowstorm and the neighbor isn't, what's going to happen? And what if this thing that's coming, how many neighbors aren't going to be prepared or don't even know? They're living their life, and they're like that people with the hurricane, and 2 hours before the sirens go off, and they're like, holy crap, there's a hurricane coming. I better run to the grocery store and get some water.
Yeah. On my street, it's not an issue because all my neighbors are kind of, we do keep, little gardens and, trade and have. It's the street over. Those people, they're crazy. They're opulent. They you can see their trash is different.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not prepared. It's weird.
Yeah.
They're not prepared.
So when things go bad, do you worry that maybe your neighbors over there on those streets won't know, and then they'll panic at the last minute? They'll try to grab whatever, and then eventually when they run out and they go, hey, that street across from us over there, look at those people. They got lights on. They're trading groceries. They're being real friendly. Should we take theirs, or we should go buddy up with them? But now we have nothing, and we're going to expect you to give us some stuff. I don't know.
I don't worry about anything like that. For me, I think it'll be resolved itself. And some, that's the smart way is we've already discussed that the ones with the generators, they're going to be quiet about it. They're going to use it as, generators make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But, but the food is in the basement, and they're not going to allow the people, if they need to charge their phones with that, okay, we'll be fine with that. There was a time when where one street lost power and the other ones didn't. We were allowing each other use of the power, no problem at all. But yeah, there's a balancing act. You help somewhat, but you can't expose yourself too much.
Yeah. So with this day coming up, 11/11, we're all going to get on and we're going to do a podcast on, something like this. I would assume about peace and, keeping your head on straight through turmoil. But like I said, I don't think we can stop what's coming, but we can enlighten people to what's coming. And then hopefully, that can help slow what's coming down, maybe. Just like sending the plows out early to plow the snow versus we're going to wait until all the snow stops and the sun comes out. Plow twice as much.
Well, that's the thing, is that we can help influence things, because I don't think things are going to be as bad as the fear shows. But
yes.
Again, it is going to be terrible no matter what. It is already terrible. What's happening is terrible. So if we can push the agenda for peace, I do have family who are military, and they're up and say, yes, we need to fund and help Ukraine and everything. But Ukraine is just doing bad money after bad money. I mean, there's no end to it. We need to negotiate a peace. Israel, we need to negotiate for peace. But they go, no, they're the bad ones. We're the good ones. They're the bad ones. And it's like, no, it doesn't matter what you think they are. There's actually a quote about that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what you think of someone else is irrelevant to, let's have peace now.
Because whatever side you're on, you probably think your side is the right side. I mean, I really do believe that. I think that if you are on if you were one of them, you're going to think that whatever they're doing is the right thing for the most part.
Right.
And so then who is right and who is wrong?
In Ukraine, there is no right or wrong. That's the problem. They both want the same land, but there are Russian people who live on that land who want to go back to Russia, and there are Ukrainian people on that land who want to stay part of Ukraine, and that's the problem. And of course, they both want the same land, but why can't they both have it? What is the big purpose of owning that land? What is there that I think that's the big secret, is actually what is really there that everyone wants. No one knows.
Yeah. To me, it seems like it's like fighting over a desert. Why would you fight over a desert? There's nothing there unless you knew there was more. The desert was not going to be a desert after a little while, or maybe there was some precious minerals under the ground that was worth billions of dollars or something. But in the meantime, having fighting over a desert would be pretty meaningless. But yet they have done that. Look at Iraq and Kuwait and all of those countries, but they knew there was precious stuff under the ground. And maybe Ukraine was fighting on their border with Russia all this time, and then they were threatening to put missiles on the border with Russia, which I can understand. If I was Russia, I wouldn't want missiles just a few miles off my border pointing at me.
100%. You're right. True. You're right. That's the truth right there.
Move the border back a little bit. Russian people are right. Well, and I get to thinking about it. We think that these areas, people don't realize these areas aren't that big. We're living in the states, and things are huge. Our one state is as big as one of those countries, or if not twice the size. And we think, oh, well, they got that whole country. Their country has twice as many people, and it has half the size. Now, when you have a border, just like here, that the Wisconsin people move across the border to Minnesota, the California people move a little bit across the border to Idaho, and Illinois people, work and live, or work in Wisconsin when they live in Illinois, because the border is just a line.
Yep.
And I'm sure it happens there too. Like you said, I had Delabore on. You were on with me in Delabore, and Delabore is like, hey, I can speak, 5 languages. Well, I gotta speak because of borders right over here. I gotta speak this Czech, and I gotta speak German because I live in Germany, and then I gotta speak Polish because there's some Polish people who walk across the border, and then I gotta speak, well, because they're so close.
Yep. You're right. That's the truth.
Yeah.
They're so close, and they all want the same land, and what's the value in it that we don't understand? That's to them it's just, oh, I have it, it's mine.
Well, value of land is like when you got that many people in that small space, land is valuable. I mean, think about it. It'd be like your city block there, and then they say, well, we're going to build 5 more houses. You guys better make some room. Well, where are they going to build those houses? In between your house and the neighbor's house? Then how crowded would it be?
Well, that's my street. That's what happened. They tore down an old 120-year-old house and built 2 duplexes. And unfortunately, they only built only the one of the duplexes was built. The other one is still a hole in the ground. But the 2 duplexes, because the house was higher up, they dug in the ground for basements, and those basements are flooded now, and they're pumping. And the duplex that they have built is pumping the water constantly, and the other duplex that they haven't built is a pond. So yes, they made a mistake, and they're suffering right now. The guy who built those things is bad money after good right now, just trying to get a way of hitching up to the town septic sewer lines so that they can drain those basements. But again, they'll just shove. They don't care. It's money. Once he gets it done, once he gets people to buy those houses, which he got one, he sold 1 of the 4. He's happy. He got his money, and he's get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And the city, the city approved. It was the land was only supposed to have for frontage for 1 house, the way it was made. But the city gave him a dispensation, whatever the hell. They allowed him to build 4 houses. Basically, it's 4 houses. It's 2 duplexes, 4 houses on land that was supposed to have 1 house.
Yep.
And those 4 houses have absolutely no land. Every other house on our street, even the smallest duplex, has 3 times as much land as these new houses, which are much more expensive than any of the houses. It's crazy. And he sold 1 of them. Yeah. But everyone wants to get their money and get the hell out of there.
Well, and that's the thing. It's the same in these other countries, like the ones that are fighting now. They're fighting over what? Land, because they got 2 million people in an area that probably should only have like 100,000.
Yep.
And you got to figure it's kind of deserty there. You got to pipe in all the food and all the water and all the stuff, and you keep getting more people, and you're building all these high-rise buildings because they all need a place to live. So land becomes the commodity, and when you have one guy who hates the other guy and they build a fence around him, eventually he's going to feel like, he's penned in. And this isn't I'm not free, I'm in a prison.
You're right.
And they're going to lash out. I mean, it's just inevitable. It's inevitable. And, and they fight amongst each other and eliminate some people, destroy some houses. Now you have free open land again. Well, where the destroyed houses were, let's build back. Well, I hate to say it, but build back better, right? Now there's less people, bigger, better houses. Maybe this was the whole plan after all. I don't know, but I just think one group wants the land of another group, and this is what's happened throughout the centuries. I mean, I do the Native American myths and legends, and it's the same thing. Oh, the Americans or the English came here, said, hey, can we get a little bit of land? And the Indians are like, yeah, sure, we ain't using it. You can have a little land there. Next thing you know, there's 100,000 people living on that chunk of land, and the Indians got thousands of acres. Next thing you know, they're moving out into the acreage, and the Indians are pissed. Hey, I used to hunt here. Now you built a cabin, you got it fenced off, and you're raising cows. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll give you a little bit. Okay, and pretty soon, there's 200,000 people, and they're moving out even farther, and you've been living on this land all your life, and your parents, your grandparents, and their parents' grandparents, and pretty soon you say, I got to fight back. You're taking all my stuff.
Yep. That's what happened. Yeah, and it's crazy,
Yeah, I mean, it'll eventually happen here too. I mean, maybe not for a while, but I mean, eventually there will be so many people living here that they will, feel like they're caged up. I mean, the only place that's actually had success with this stuff is China and Japan. And those people live a little bit differently. I mean, they take orders. They're happy with a small house. They're happy with little or less. They're told what to do and they do it and obey the laws. I mean, could you see the differences in the way they live and what we live?
Well, see, that's the thing, is that laws are made to make people follow them. Laws are not for the lawbreakers. Laws are for the people who just follow the rules. So yeah, right. Japanese, there are no trash cans anywhere in Japan. There's also no trash in the street.
Yeah.
Because they know what the proper moral thing to do is to keep the trash in your pocket. They have little bags in their pockets that they bring their trash, and then when they get to the right place, a shop that has a trash bag, then they throw it away there. That's a different mindset. We don't have that mindset.
No.
China, they're told to follow the rules. Social credit score. Okay, I got my good social credit score. That's China. China's forcing it, and the people follow it. So yeah, in Americans, we're being pushed slowly down that steep slope into more China idea. But again, we're a mess.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's hard to change them because they're used to being one way or the other. It's like, hey, there's so many people that had, big giant yards and a big house, and then all of a sudden, well, now they're telling you got to live in this little apartment or this little itty bitty place or whatever. How can you do that? I mean, you're like, you go from a big place to a little place. It's like taking the city mouse and putting him in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Works better than the country mouse putting him in the city.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work the other way, because when you have that freedom and you have to go into the city, it works for a little while, but after a while it's like, oh man, I miss the fresh air. Because that's who we are. That's how we live. If you're in China and you live out in some rural area and they decide they want to build a dam there or something, they come in, okay, everybody got an hour, pack your stuff and get in the bus. We're moving you. The whole village. You're done. This place is going to be underwater. You got to leave now. All your stuff. Well, we lived here for 2 centuries. Tough luck. Get in the bus. We're moving you. And they do.
That's exactly what they do. Yeah, you're right.
And those people, do they fight back? Do they complain? Yeah, I'm sure they complain enough, but they know that the government, that's their just way of living, and they accept it.
Yep, that's the truth. The government has their way, and you follow the government. The government has all the power. And they go, okay, I'll do what the government says.
Yeah, and here we were given this Constitution, freedoms. It's going to be really hard. It's going to take a long time for them to figure out how to get rid of those freedoms and make us think in a different mindset.
Well, we are slowly having our rights taken away on the idea that it gives us better rights, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. It's mine. It's double speak. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have the bill to pass more rights to the people, and in the end, it will be a lot less rights. But they'll say, no, no,
Yeah.
the bill says you have more rights. Here are all the rights you have. You have the right
Yeah.
to all the free internet, but it turns
Yeah.
out the internet are all censored. You know, like, well,
Yeah.
no, it's the free true internet. You have an internet with the truth. But
Yeah.
no, we should have the ability to figure out the quote lies from the truth. And let us make our own choices. Let us figure it out for ourselves. Don't tell us what the truth is. Just
Mm-hmm.
give us the facts and let us figure it out for ourselves.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yeah. That's how it is. I mean, people do better when they think for themselves and they have a little bit of freedom. And that, I think that was the United States experiment, was to see what would happen if we gave people some freedom of choice, some rights, and
yep.
things like that. And look at our country expanded, and it was great. You know, new inventions, new this, new that. When you live in one of those societies where, you know, thinking is frowned upon. Wasn't it what country was it that it was Vietnam or something like that, where they would go, or one of those countries around there, and where they went out and killed all the people that had glasses on, because, well, if you got
Cambodia.
glasses,
Cambodia.
Cambodia, yeah, you
Cambodia.
might
Yeah.
be smart.
That's the one thing I know. I read all about that. Was that they thought that the people with glasses were smarter, so there were people who would just threw their glasses away, got rid of the glasses, and
Yeah.
they and they had friends of them told they couldn't read anymore, and that was the one thing, is that they couldn't read anymore, so that made the Cambodian government happy because
Yep.
they were educating themselves. They were just doing the menial labor that the Pol Pot wanted.
Yep. Yeah, something simple like that. I mean, the logic just isn't, I mean, gosh, you think about it, and it's quite illogical. But then again, I guess it worked for them, at the time.
Well, it didn't. The whole thing fell apart. Cambodia became just a mess.
Yeah.
Nepal, they, they got better for it. Burma, Burma and Thailand, thrived while Cambodia just fell apart.
Yeah.
But again, that's the history of the whole area is messed up. And that's again, England, France, and the United States are the ones that ruined that area. Cambodia, it was direct influence by United States, England, and France, but
Yeah.
mostly France and
Yeah.
United States. But that's a whole story of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, the killing fields. Yes, the killing fields. That's exactly what it was all about, Cambodia.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy.
Am I holding you for work?
No, I'm going to go back. I'm trying to jumpstart a car right now, so I had a little time. I seen your live stream was up and the car battery's dead, so I got a little bit. I got to get that in my truck. Wouldn't start. It's diesel, and I hadn't started I should have started when it was warm, but now last night got down to like 7 degrees, and I got the generator started, and I got that on it, and it's trying to warm it up, and I got to go start these vehicles probably. So I'm going to probably let you go, but it's been fun talking to you, and good to come back on the stream here, and hope everybody enjoyed our words of wisdom, and well, it was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Yep. Well, have a great day and good luck with that jumping.
Okay. Take care. Later. Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right, everyone. I think that's enough. I put a whole hour and 10 minutes stealing all poor Wayne Steiger's time slot. And I might have had some important stuff, might have had some garbage. But again, we're all learning. We're all learning together. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for giving you insights and in the chat. Have a great day. And if you're watching this in the future, you're all watching. Have love and peace to you all. Have a great, wonderful, beneficial, compassionate weekend. And in the end, you can love this video, you can hate this video, but it's all in yours to what's next.